Sometimes the world doesn't make sense. Sometimes events line up so perfectly that it feels impossible, and yet they happened. Real coincidences that defy logic, make you question fate, destiny, and everything in between. Today, we're diving into the top 5 craziest coincidences that actually happened. Stories so strange, you'll think they were scripted by the universe itself. The first coincidence takes us back to the sinking of the Titanic in 1912, the unsinkable ship that met its tragic end in the icy waters of the Atlantic. But what if I told you someone had already written the same story 14 years earlier in 1898? Author Morgan Robertson published a novel called Futility, or The Wreck of the Titan. The book described a massive luxury ship called the Titan. It was the largest ship ever built. It was called unsinkable. It didn't have enough lifeboats, and it struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic in April, killing nearly everyone on board. Sound familiar? The similarities are chilling. Both ships were around the same size. Both sailed at similar speeds. Both sank in almost the exact same way. Robertson wrote the book years before the Titanic even existed. How could he have predicted it so perfectly? Was it pure chance? Or did he somehow glimpse the future? That coincidence remains one of the greatest mysteries in literature and history. The second coincidence is about 2 men who shared the same life and death in the most unbelievable way. Their names were Hugh Williams. Both lived in Wales. Both were fishermen, and both survived separate shipwrecks that happened in the same area of the same river. But that's not the crazy part. In 1660, a ship sank in the Menai Strait off the coast of Wales. Only one person survived. His name was Hugh Williams. Exactly 121 years later, in 1782, another ship sank in the same spot. Again, only one survivor. His name was also Hugh Williams. People thought it was a legend, until it happened again in 1820. Another boat went down in the Menai Strait, and guess who survived? One man named Hugh Williams. 3 different shipwrecks, 3 different centuries, same location, same name, same outcome. Some called it fate. Others said it was a curse, but it's one of the most mind-bending coincidences in history. The third coincidence is about the lives and deaths of 2 American presidents. Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, separated by a century, but connected by patterns so exact, it's almost impossible not to notice. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. Kennedy in 1946. Lincoln was elected president in 1860. Kennedy in 1960. Both were deeply involved in civil rights. Both were shot in the head on a Friday. Both were killed while sitting beside their wives. Both were succeeded by men named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy and warned him not to go to the theater. Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln and warned him not to go to Dallas. Lincoln was shot in a theater and the assassin ran to a warehouse. Kennedy was shot from a warehouse and the assassin ran to a theater. Both killers were known by 3 names: John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald. Both names contain 15 letters. Booth was born in 1839. Oswald in 1939. Booth fled from the theater and was caught in a barn. Oswald fled from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. The coincidences go on, and historians have checked them again and again. They're real. How can 2 lives mirror each other so perfectly across 100 years? Maybe it's just chance, or maybe history has a strange way of repeating itself. The fourth coincidence is one that sounds like it came straight from a movie. It's called The Mystery of the Twin Brothers in 1975 in Finland. 2 brothers were riding bicycles on the same road, in the same town, exactly 2 hours apart. Both were hit by trucks, and both died. But here's where it gets eerie. Both accidents happened less than a mile apart. The drivers of the trucks were not related, and didn't even know each other when police investigated. They were stunned by how identical the 2 crashes were. The same time of day, the same stretch of road, and both victims were brothers aged 70, living in the same small village. The chances of two brothers dying the same way, on the same road, just hours apart, are beyond calculation. People began calling it the most unbelievable coincidence ever recorded, and to this day, no one can fully explain how it happened. The fifth coincidence is perhaps the most heart-stopping of all, the story of a baby who fell twice and was saved by the same man. Both times in the 1930s in New York City. A mother accidentally dropped her baby from the window of a high-story apartment just as the baby fell. A man named Joseph Figlock was walking down the street. The baby landed directly on him. Both survived a year later in another part of the city. Another baby fell from a window, and once again, the same man, Joseph Figlock, happened to be walking below. The baby landed on him again. Both survived. Again. Two separate incidents. One man saving two falling babies by being in the exact right place at the exact right moment. The odds of that happening are almost zero, but it did happen. And Joseph Figlock became an accidental hero twice by pure coincidence. These are only 5 of the craziest coincidences in history, but they make you wonder how much of life is chance and how much is something more. Maybe it's the universe showing us that everything is connected in ways we can't understand. Maybe it's proof that fate plays a hand in our lives. Or maybe it's all just random chaos that sometimes lines up perfectly. Whatever the answer, these coincidences remind us that reality is stranger than fiction and sometimes even more unbelievable than imagination. Imagine writing a book and predicting one of the world's greatest disasters, 14 years before it happened. Imagine surviving a shipwreck 3 times when everyone else died. Imagine 2 presidents born a century apart, living mirrored lives. Imagine 2 brothers dying on the same road hours apart, or saving the same baby twice. By pure accident. These moments make history feel alive, unpredictable, and mysterious. They make us pause and question everything we know about luck, destiny, and time. And maybe that's what makes coincidences so powerful. They show us that even in a world of logic and reason, there's still room for the impossible. They remind us that no matter how much we think we control our lives, sometimes the universe has other plans. Maybe somewhere out there right now, another coincidence is waiting to happen. One that will connect people, events, and places in ways no one can predict. Maybe one day your life will cross paths with something so unbelievable you'll question reality itself. And when that happens, you'll remember these stories. The Titan and Titanic, the Hugh Williams shipwrecks, the Lincoln and Kennedy parallels, the Finnish twins and the falling babies, because coincidences are like echoes of history, repeating reminders that sometimes truth really is stranger than fiction. And the craziest part of all is that every one of these stories actually happened,